Continuing on with the SI joints, the glutes, and the periformis in our AYRx training, we're going to come back to some basics. I really like the seated pigeon sequence. We can actually consider the seated pigeon not just a pose, but an entire sequence that we're going to work with some variations. And then notice the difference between coming into seated pigeon, which is from chillaxing pose, then the difference between that and floating pigeon, which is entered through our floating Buddha. So we're going to push the swing down nice and low, get into our sumo, which is our favorite upright position. And then from here, leg loops at back of the knees. So remembering to access our core and always lift from a strong belly. That's right. And then after doing that 14,000 times, it gets easier. Piece of cake. Let's go ahead and go right into it with our right foot on top of the left. I have to tell you, some people have trouble getting their foot on top. Just have them help their foot up by using their hands. It's totally okay. Some people feel like they just failed if they have to use their hands to help their foot up. It's okay. Until the hips open, that's going to be an issue. This is a really powerful pose just in itself. To take pressure off the underarms, we simply press back into our hands with our head, chillaxing arms. Now, pushing your sit bones towards the ground is what changes everything. Okay, so just let your hips rise, kind of like if your hips are locked, they'll just naturally rise and try to avoid that tightness. Flex your toes, flex the foot, and then press your sit bones down as you lift your chest, and then all of a sudden that's the stretch. So you can immediately feel the deep connection between where the femur inserts into the hip socket, which is so cool. So we can't work the SI joints without working the periformis and glutes. It's all just one unit, really. So we're kind of going from the waistband a little bit further down to the next level. Now from here, I love hugging. So to deepen the pose, and we're going to keep our head in line with our body and lift from our heart. So it's not a traditional child's pose, so that's why I just call it a hug. Okay? And then we blossom for star to undulate. And then exhale, squeeze, keep the emphasis on the glutes. So next we're going to get into the periformis. So it's all connected to it. Just notice how the SI joints, everybody knows the SI joints, right? Where the lumbar meets the sacrum. Okay. All right, now let's add our twist. Now when we twist, that's when we're getting into the joints a little bit more. So we're going to take our left hand, wrap it around the swing, and go for the right leg loop. So it's a diagonal. Now we're just going to rest our head. What we want to do is feel our rib cage initiating the twist here. And then you feel the joint. Then you can feel the space because of gravity allowing us to hang. So you actually, even when you twist on the floor, you're not going to be able to get this release. So the longer that you hang and relax, the deeper the stretch. Plus, you can still feel the IT band glute, that whole connection coming alive. It's really strong. Okay, if we wanted to go deeper, we extend the leg and really emphasize the twist. There we go. Our hand can stay here on the leg loop, or it can go for the foot or the left leg loop. It can go for wherever it can reach comfortably, dropping the hips and lifting the chest. Okay, it's usually one or the other, and we want both. And then the head, if we want to do the more extended version, we're going to release our gaze towards our thumb, no longer relaxing the head on the swing. Okay. Then I like to come back down, stack the knees. Ooh la la. You can always give a little hop if you need to give the underarms a break. Left hand grabs for right foot. And if it's possible, right hand grabs for the other foot. So this is kind of pulling the sit bones apart. Right? Spreading the sacrum. And then I like adding a little back bend here, which is just giving me some sweet relief for the underarms. All right. let's end with our can opener. So back to our seated pigeon, holding on to the swing. Your hips are the can. Holding on to the swing the entire time. Just lean back, press the hips up. Arch and open the heart. Okay, sinking down, switching sides. Seated pigeon sequence, left foot on top, flexing the toes. Keeping that foot engaged. Protects the knee, pushing the hips down to lax arms. Adding a gentle swag here from side to side. Undulating from side to side. We undulate back and forth from child's to star, and then just from side to side deepens the twist. Deepens the stretch. Every day I get in the swing and do the seated pigeon sequence. Every day. Opening this part of the body up. Just, it never feels like it's done. It's always a journey. There's always another layer of opening, for sure. And then counterbalancing all the sitting, all the driving, all the computer. It's the best pose for that. And so we're going to hug the leg loops towards us. Nice, strong squeeze towards the center line. And then we push the hips down at the same time. Go ahead and undulate the spine a few rounds. Inhale, blossom for star. Keep the hips heavy. Exhale, hug, squeeze. We're obviously working the entire torso, the entire spine, but it's so nice to bring that emphasis to the glutes and the hips and the periformis. Okay, so now we're going to take our right hand, keep it wrapped around the swing, reach for the left leg loop, rest the head, and just let the rib cage pour down towards the ground. That's how we're going to get some space for the SI joint to release. And let it be easy. A little bit more of a twist, Shanti, a little bit more of the rib cage out to the side. Everybody take your hand, put it on your solar plexus, and pull those ribs down towards the ground. Yeah, so not just straight down, but on a twist. That's it. Yeah, totally different, right? It just adjusted the whole lower back. Sometimes hard to describe, so I'm always like, use your hands to help emphasize that, and then drop back in. Okay, we're going to straighten that leg, tee the arms, release your gaze towards your left thumb, and deepen the twist. That same movement then, right? Really wringing out the rib cage, pushing the hips down, extending the leg. So now deeper into the IT band. Beautiful, guys. That's it. That's it. Okay, we're stacking the knees, sliding in, holding onto the foot. You can always give it a little hop whenever you need a break. The underarms will start talking to you. All right, Gomukhasana variation. So the more we pull in, the deeper the stretch, right? So keep the chest lifted, lean back if that helps, stay longer. Beautiful, guys. Once we come back, we're going to end up in our seated pigeon pose. Flex the foot, push the hips towards the sky. Keep holding on to the swing, lean back, stretch. Arch and open the heart. And release. And that is a big sequence, right? Yeah. Especially with that emphasis. Let's just add a little swagger, and then we're going to go right into our floating pigeon and feel the difference between the two variations. And the difference, the obvious difference is the leg loops make their way down to the ankles. But there's a huge difference in how much engagement there is, what it feels like. I mainly want to go into the money pose to release the periformis and have that experience. Once we're in floating Buddha, leg loops at the ankles, bend the right knee in. I like to hold on to the foot and the leg loop. Okay? And now from here, so most people are pushing their hips up and they're not getting the release. So we square the hips and press the hips down, which means it's strong in the other arm. So people are avoiding the strength. So what you do is you pull down. So your arms are really engaged, but your hips are heavy. So that's a lot of work, right? It's a lot of work. Now from here, now I'm going to take my right hand and press it into my right knee and rotate that. It's a spiral. I rotate that down towards the ground as I pull my foot up, and then my piriformis gets a little bit of relief, a little bit of space. It's a pretty amazing stretch and really worth it, but most people are not getting in there. So we avoid that tightness, but it feels amazing when we get it. Now this piriformis release is less accessible in seated pigeon, so floating pigeon is particularly good, which is also stretching the SI joint. I can feel my SI joint really lengthening there. Open it up. Take a little superstar action, shake it out. Superstar. And then bend the left knee in. So first I hold on to the foot and the leg loop and I pull straight in. And I get that lift. So my upper body is lifting, my lower body is dropping. Square your hips. Yes. See how different that is? Flex the foot. Yes. Even there. Different stretch. So then I point my knee down towards the ground. My hips start to rock to the left. Yeah. If you don't square them first, then you don't get the same release here. So it's a really big spiral. And most people, their knee is not going to go very far. You can tell it doesn't. You don't even have to go very far to get the release. Now we do this in our standing pigeon sequence, but very few people are really getting it the way you can get it here. And if you just hang out here, the piriformis will release. It just feels absolutely amazing for the SI joint. Part of the body. Beautiful, guys. Okay, we have a whole floating pigeon sequence there into side tree, but let's just give it a rest. That's a lot for the hips and the SI joint and the glutes, so just wash it out with one vinyasa flow at your own pace and your own time. See how that feels. Come on back and end up in your windshield wipers when you're ready. Just even here for the lower back, both for swagger and windshield wipers. If you keep your hips heavy, your heart open and your head relaxed, just swaying like this from side to side is mobilizing the SI joints, releasing the lumbar spine, getting some space all the way down through the IT band to release the glutes, opening up the hamstrings. Literally, the easiest thing you could possibly do is get in the swing and swag, right? That's our swing. Our swing. Our swagger in the swing. It's our swing. It just feels so good. Can you guys feel what I'm talking about now that we're emphasizing the lower back? The hips, and the SI joint. This is amazing. So I recommend just doing that every day for as long as you can. Just 5 minutes of just swagging. So swinging and swagging. All right, let's take a break, guys.